recognize at some point they've gained weight, they feel unattractive, and that they want to lose weight in order to be acceptable by other people, right? And you had a whole bunch of men in the chat last night. Now the women were agreeing with me, but all the men were like, I don't work out for other people. That's not the reason why I don't work out for women or to try to impress women. What's up, Call Me Jolly? Oh, I work out because I like to feel good. I want to work out because it just makes me feel good. They were freaking out. And then, yeah, I work out because of the endorphin rush. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, man. And I said, dude, I told him straight up, I said, you guys are full of shit. The primary driving motivation for why men, especially young men, go to the gym and work out is a deep desire to impress women and men. Not because you are sexually attracted to them, but because you want to, thank you so much, the president, but because you want to either show men that you're strong, you're muscular, and um, that you got strength, you have power. It's a form of influencing. It's a form of letting other men know in the room, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm intimidating. Like, that's the reason why men, like, sure, yes, you do it for yourself, but you also do it because deep down inside you want to impress other people. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. But to then gaslight, and then this is what pissed me off. He was like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Why would you even be talking about this? Because you don't even look like you work out. I'm like, okay, so first of all, you are gaslighting on this very issue, but then you then turn around and weaponize my looks by presuming that just because I don't look a certain way that I don't work out, which is not true at all. And then you are proving my point in real time, because if you didn't feel like looks mattered, exactly, they insulted my appearance and proved my point. Exactly. But this is how dumb men can be. Like, I'm realized now more than ever, I get now why women are like, no, fuck guys, fuck men. Because men, they're delusional. It ain't women. Because every woman last night was agreeing with me. Every man was this. Every man, I don't work out for. I'm like, why are you virtual signaling on this? Everybody works out at your core base motivation is to try to work on your appearances and get into the best shape possible. And but they hate the idea to admit that they are doing something to impress women, and there's nothing wrong with that. They want to make it seem like, no, that's just so simple. I'm not like that. I'm better. I'm better than other guys. I don't do that. I'm different. Dude, nobody cares. Like, listen, every women don't want to be, for the most part, don't want to be with fat slobs. And men don't want to be with fat slobs. The reason why people go to the gym, their base motivation, unless you've had a real serious health challenge, and now you're going back to the gym because you're trying to get to a baseline of normal health, because that's encouraged by your doctor, right? Or you're like an older person. The average person is going to the gym to work on their physique. That's the reason why people go to the gym. That's the reason why people are so quick to want to spend money on weight loss pills and shots and Ozempic and getting cosmetic surgery and liposuction. It's because they realize they have more. Their priority is that they place more of a priority on their looks than the actual health component. But let me tell you why a lot of men are like this too, especially black men. Black men feel entitled to pussy. they think that, well, so long as I'm not too big and nasty, if my dick is big enough, then that should just be good enough for any women. That's how a lot of men think, especially black men. They think, oh, well, I got some good dick. That's all a woman need anyways. I'm going to put this dick up on her and she going to, dude, women can get dick at any given time. Women turn up the nastiest, sloppiest woman out there with only 3 teeth in her mouth, balding, hair falling out, bad body, just all around disgusting. She could get dick. The ugliest woman you could think of on the planet right now can easily hop on Tinder, Bumble, any dating app, and literally within motherfucking 20 minutes can find some damn dick. Straight up. So I don't know why men like to gaslight on this. It's like, why a virtual signal? Why? Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing all this grand? I don't do that. I don't try to impress women. Motherfucker, please. No, you want to. Stop lying. Like, it's so delusional. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. And then these be the main guys, mind you. These be the main guys, mind you, that when they get older and they hit a wall and then they start feeling invisible, all of a sudden they want to blame society. They want to blame the world. They want to blame women for all their problems and shit. It's always women this, women that, women this, women that. So clearly, you have issues with women because deep down inside, you are insecure about the fact that you're not attractive to them. Now, it might be some men trying to impress women. I'm sorry, some men trying to impress other men. But what I'm saying though, the vast majority of men go to the gym in order to get into tip-top shape because they want to develop a physique that is going to be intimidating to men, to let other people know you can't fuck with me. I'm strong. Look at me. I'm athletic. But also to let other women know I'm that nigga. I'm that dude. I'm strong. I'm sexy. Look at me. Look at my body. It's an unconscious, deep, deep unconscious psychological motivation, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Because we are an animal species where our primary biological driving purpose is to procreate. And how we choose spouses to procreate is based on appearances, looks. But that's what a lot of men are full of shit. I'm sorry, but a lot of guys are full of shit. Because now all of it, they'll be the first. But here's the thing about men, though. This is the funny part. Oh, it doesn't matter. Looks don't matter. Well, I just need to make some money. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. But they'll be the first people to bully you about your looks. They'll be the first to call you fat, nasty, whatever, to both men and women. That's what I'm like. A lot of guys are full of shit. Just full of shit. And then I think a lot of times too, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Can you guys hear me? Can you all hear me? I think a lot of times too, I'm telling you, a lot of guys just know they're ugly. And by distancing, by downplaying this idea that looks don't matter, it's just a coping mechanism because they know they're ugly. That's what that shit is. You ugly at and here's the thing, you could also work on your body, but you could still be an ugly ass motherfucker. You see it all the time. It's plenty of dudes. You see some of these fitness models. You see them all the time on Instagram. Some of these dudes, they get into tip-top shape. They oiled up, muscles popping. They showing off their workouts, but they look like motherfucking Harambe in the face. Or they look like motherfucking, they just look crazy. They look crazy. So a lot of men, they're just full of shit. They're just full of shit. Especially black guys, because they, yes, but it's dystopian to be too stuck on appearances. What do you mean by dystopian? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you more than likely can find a spouse. Unless you are just 9 times out of 10, the men who have a hard time, like a objectively hard time finding a suitable spouse, usually have a personality issue. They don't have an appearance problem. They have a personality problem. They are weird. A lot of men are weird. A lot of men have deep-rooted psychological issues. A lot of insecurities about how much money they're making, how educated they are, um, and then a lot of them are just depraved. Like they watch too much porn. They objectify women. They go in wanting to already have sex on a first date. Um, a lot of men, and then a lot of men have really bad hygiene. Like that's something else too. Like a lot of dudes, a lot of motherfuckers don't be showering. A lot of guys, they only take a bath maybe once or twice a week. And then a lot of guys don't even wipe their own asses. And then don't let a dude be uncircumcised. Then they got all types of smegma and shit. My coworkers mentioned you at work today, homie. Oh, what? Talking about my books. Can the personality issue be fixed? It depends on the problem. More than likely, they probably need to go to a damn therapist. I still do, right? Um, a lot of men probably, well, I wouldn't say they need a therapist. I think the problem is in today's society, in today's modern society, we have really lost touch with what it's truly like to be a man's man. Like to go out there and get it out the mud, to have like pure, raw grit, to be a warrior, to be a soldier, to be somebody ready to kill and die for your own. And I even like this because I realize at the age of 40, like, if I feel like, to be honest with you, real talk, if you're a man and you're in this chat, one thing that I have come to realize is that society can collapse at any time. So now I'm realizing as a grown ass man, you need to be prepared to kill and die for your own. If you can't, and a part of that training is, are you physically fit? Are you physically fit? Do you look like you could protect your family? Do you know how to? And I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of men don't have this. A lot of men lack this. They lack that grit. They lack drive, purpose, motivation in today's society, and it's mainly because, and I'm telling you, a lot of young boys in today's society, they're essentially just coasting through. The educational system is pretty much collapsing, and they're just passing um, kids off from grade level to grade level. They have horrible literacy rates. Like if you look at the literacy rates of young boys and young men, like young teenagers, and this is across the board for all races. This is not even a racial thing. If you look at young white boys, young black boys, young Hispanic boys, they are all lagging in literacy compared to women. And education attainment amongst young men, it's abysmal. A lot of younger guys feel no need to go to college. And I don't know why this is being perpetuated, because the reality is that if you are trying to survive in this modern 21st century high-tech economy in the West, you're going to need some advance education, whether you want to acknowledge this or not. Why do I keep promoting that college thing? What do you mean that college thing? That's not. What do you mean? That's. I don't. I don't. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, dude, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a new world now. People don't need college. Yes, they do need college. I don't know why you keep reiterating this. How do we have doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants? Like, there are certain jobs you just cannot get without a degree. You cannot work in healthcare without a degree. You cannot work in education without a degree. You can't work in law without a degree. You can't work. The vast majority of of careers require you to have some college degree. College was a waste of my time. I mean, maybe for you, and you found a way how to make money without a college education, but how the fuck the blue collars gonna get paid if there aren't any accountants? Yeah, I mean, do you think you would have been able to be a successful author without college? No, I don't think so. I learned a lot in college, and one thing that people don't realize about getting a college education, especially in today's society, you can't just go to any college. And this is something that a lot of black people don't seem to realize. And a lot of times when I have this conversation, and I'm not trying to be funny because I don't want to make it seem like I'm just picking on black people, but we are so far behind in terms of what a real true college education looks like. Like, don't get me wrong, going to college is a good thing for the most part, right? Like, you can't really go wrong going to college. But you going to like a relatively low ranking state school compared to trying to go to a more competitive school like U of I here in Illinois, like University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, or University of Florida, or um, going somewhere like UCLA or USC. You those schools are light years ahead of just a regular no name like state university or college. Also, the more competitive school, the better as well. The good alumni, yeah, the alumni networks, everything, and college is not a scam. I don't know why you keep reiterating that. The studies bear this out that not you people who are college educated make 60% more than uh, somebody who does not have a college degree. What job, what career do you think you can honestly go in today's society and not? And now, if you're going to college and you bullshit it and you ended up getting a degree, like let's say something like sociology, and then you just graduate and you don't have like an actual career in mind, like you have no idea what you plan on doing or doing with your degree, that's different. That's different. Quan want black men to go to college just so they can get bullied and emasculated in corporate America. No, no, what? Briscoe, I think you might need to go to a therapist, sir, because you got some insecurities about this college thing. Because that is not the 1980s anymore, bro. I know guys my age making six figures monthly, right? But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I think you're too caught up on money. I'm not trying to be funny when I think you're focusing way too hard on money. I also think you're missing out on the fact that another important factor that is that necessitates why you should go to college is developing social relationships in your social network. Like the connections that you make in college. Like, you not having a college degree, I can guarantee you right now, there are just certain rooms you are not going to be able to get into unless you are just a very well known, popular person and you have a lot of leverage and power. But trust and believe me, you're not going to be able to. People, generally speaking, really value credentialing. Even when it comes to investment opportunities, why would somebody want to do business with you? And then they ask you, oh, what college did you go to? And you're like, oh, well, I dropped out. And you're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, okay. Like even if you want to go to an investment bank and you want to go to an, no, they don't. Money talk. No, it doesn't. I'm trying to let you know, dude. Listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, dude, but that is a nigga ass mindset. A lot of black men think that. A lot of black men think that all I have to do is just make a certain amount of money and that's good enough. No, it's not. I'm trying to tell you, people really value social relationships, and a part of those social relationships is predicated upon your reputation and education and credentialing. Like people want to know, like, what's you tell somebody you went to an Ivy League, automatically they have a shift in perception about you. They don't know what they haven't experienced. Exactly. Exactly. Would you say 21 is too late to start college? No, it's never too late to go to college. Never too late to go to college. Now listen, don't go to college and go and take out $100,000 in loans and now you're in debt with a bullshit degree. That I think Briscoe, I think that is really what you need to, what you should refrain your statement, because I do agree to an extent that college can be bullshit. It can be a scam. And truth be told, some of these schools are literally scamming students by pushing them into degree programs that quite honestly should be not even, shouldn't even, like getting a degree in social media. I've seen this. I have literally seen colleges offer master's degrees in social media. What about at 39? It's never too late to go to college. It's never too late. But do realize that a part of going to college early on in life when you're young, once again, is developing social relationships. Good example. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Do you realize that Mark Zuckerberg would have not started Facebook had it not been for, who was it, Eduardo Saverin, who gave him the money? He gave him like, what? How much money did he give him? Like $20,000 or $30,000. He needed the money. He needed the money, and his roommate or whoever his friend, he gave him $20,000. Imagine that. If he did not know Eduardo Saverin, it just would have been another idea floating in his head. Maybe eventually he would have gotten the money elsewhere, but the reality is, at that particular point in time, he had a great idea. He executed it on it as a result of having access to that social relationship, that friendship with a roommate or a friend who came from a very wealthy background and just had $20,000 to give him. And I can tell you right now, listen, you ain't gonna have that type of access to people like that going to some rinky dinky college or university. And then him being in college inspired his idea. Exactly. And I'm old enough to remember this because I'm old enough to remember when Facebook even got started, when it was only for college students. Because when I first got Facebook, it was only for college students. You had to have a college email address in order to get on Facebook. So this idea that college is some sort of scam and it's like, that is such a horrible mindset. And you gotta have, and like there's so much I've learned, like going to college for, and granted now my master's degree was somewhat bullshit, but even then I still learned a lot at the master's level. Quan, you're behind on time, bro, respectfully. No, I'm not. I don't know why you keep saying this. Quan, were you on Bebo? No, I don't know what Bebo is. I was just on MySpace at first, and then I went to um, Facebook. But here's the thing. I don't know. You say college is a scam, but let me ask you a question, Briscoe. Would you go to a doctor who doesn't have? Would you want to go to a doctor who doesn't have a college degree? And don't tell me that's different, because you're making some blank statements. You're making some very crass generalizations about college, which is just it's not. I don't know why. I don't know why you keep harping on this, Quan. Why do you think people call it a scam? Because they got insecurities. Probably, to be quite honest, probably didn't do well academically in high school, and they just deep seated insecurities. That's all that shit is. And I'm not trying to be funny in saying that, but to call it a scam and to perpetually do that, and I've seen this thread over and over again, and it's usually coming from a certain type of man who, when you look at their background, more than likely it's probably because they deep down inside probably have learning disabilities, or they just didn't do well academically and stuff like that. I mean, a good now you might make the argument, well, Tyler Perry didn't go to college, but look at the quality of his television programming and his movies. Like, it's very clear that Tyler Perry is not a good writer, because you can't just go to, like, and you see this even, like, and I know this firsthand because, like, being in urban fiction, and that's a 1 in a million chance anyway. Exactly. He got lucky. He got really lucky. And he probably knows that too, to be honest with you. He got really lucky. Because trust and believe me, it makes a world of a difference when you get into a very successful film school where you learn screenwriting. Like, if you go somewhere like UCLA or USC, or, well, not UCLA, but you go to USC or NYU and you study screenwriting, you're literally studying screenwriting under the greats. Like, look at John Singleton. Compare him to Tyler Perry. UCLA isn't known for film school. USC, so in the film world, the two biggest schools are NYU, which is more so if you want to go into like indie filmmaking and want to do like, dramas, make dramas, like it's more of like an artsy type of film program, whereas USC is more focused on like developing like more action oriented or more commercial films. So like a lot of your leading directors like John Bay and no, I'm sorry, Michael Bay, um, like people who typically go to USC, they end up working for like the studio system, producing like big budget box office movies and stuff like that. But film school, I wouldn't even say film school is a waste of money, because the thing about getting into filmmaking in today's society, it might be a waste of money. But do understand that back up until like recently, like you get into like NYU or better yet USC, it was almost a guarantee that you would end up in working for a major network studio, and then a lot of your big time showrunners and TV producers, executive producers, they all more than likely either went to film school or they went to a really top notch, um, what do you call it, undergrad program, and probably got a master's degree in like English literature. Like, a lot of people don't realize this though, but when you go off and you study like English or creative writing, like a lot of people have who, or when you get like an MFA in creative writing, a lot of these individuals end up working in Hollywood, where they essentially end up um, acting as executive producers for television networks, because they understand storytelling and story structure. They understand beats, character development, character arcs. They understand plot. They know how to write stories and adapted for television to keep an audience engaged. Now, are there directors who did not go to film school like Quentin Tarantino and David Fincher? Yes, but you're anomalies. Anomalies. I don't know why people keep doing this. I notice this. I notice that every time I bring up something, there's always somebody that brings up the anomalies. I don't know why people hyperfixate on the anomalies. Look at what the vast majority of people are doing. Are like Albert Einstein, he didn't go to college. Albert Einstein didn't get a PhD in physics, and yet he created pretty much the modern general theory of relativity. But that's not the average person. It's not as easy as you're making it seem. This is not a fair playing field for my people. Are you talking about like going? What do you mean college? I don't. I disagree with that. I don't know why you seem to think that that's not true at all. In fact, I would argue that black people. No, you. No, it's very. Oh, you saying in corporate America? Well, I mean, but why are you? Here's the thing about corporate America, though. Again, that's another generalization. I mean, that's an extreme generalization because here's the thing. Yes, is there workplace discrimination? Is there still discrimination against minorities? But you stand a better chance of getting a job as a black person. You graduate, you get a degree, and you go off and you end up working in corporate America. And more than likely, you'll end up making way more money than Quan, who works at the Amazon warehouse, making about $15 an hour. My brother works in corporate America. My brother makes about $200,000 a year. He's been working for the same place since he was like 25 or 26. Um, but I don't know why $200,000 a year is peasant money. Sir, that is not peasant money. That is not. That's you literally are. That's a lot of money. Would he like to make more? Of course, anybody would. But the average person is only making like shit, 60, $70,000 a year. And then he has no debt. He has no college loans. He has his own house in Orlando. Um, no kids. That is a lot of money. To say $200,000 is low is insane. It is. It is insane. My brother is 37. He's not married. Briscoe must be like 21 or something. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It is sounding like somebody who's like 21, 22 because um, that is a substantial amount of money for somebody with no debt. You bringing in after taxes, $20,000. You talking about what is that like? Probably like 13, 14 grand, and then his mortgage is like 1,500 bucks, $500 car payment, low utility. He lives in Orlando, no kids. $200,000 in this day economy ain't money, bro. I don't. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the average person is not making 200 grand, and that is a lot of money. You could live like not just comfortably, like you can actually like do a lot of things with that amount of money. My brother makes so much money that he just saves. Let me tell you, my brother, he did something that I even thought was kind of crazy because I didn't think because I would have never even done this. But now, don't get me wrong, I personally want to make well, I do make more than 200 grand, but I got a ton of debt, so I'm paying out a lot of shit. But here's the thing, though, okay? He did something that I thought was crazy. This past Christmas, now mind you, I'm getting my parents, little gifts here and there, whatnot. This Negro hands my parents a gift card to Home Depot for like $3,000. He was like, oh yeah, you guys need a new fridge, so I figured go ahead and just, you guys go ahead and get a new fridge. I was like, nigga, what? He showed me out. He showed me out. I was like, this motherfucker just bought my parents a whole new, brand new fridge. And mind you, they got their own money. I don't know why he did that. That was kind of weird, to be honest with you. But yeah, my brother. He had an American Express card from like when he was like 26, 27. Quan, do you invest your money with this money? I do invest it. I just put my money into what do you call it? Index funds. Is he the favorite sibling? I don't know. Probably. Uh, what does my brother do? He actually works as like a senior developer for some healthcare information technology company down in Orlando. He's been working there for like over 10 years now. Is he single? Yeah, he is single. He has no kids. He's single. But he's very, very, very picky. My brother is very picky. He has a type. And a lot of women won't fit his type. He won't fit it. He wants you pretty much he wants one of them mixies that Nick Cannon be messing with. He want one of them mixies. Are you a mixie? Oh no, you are a Hispanic Mexican, Archie. You give off that vibe. You have little teeth and big gums. Cause technically speaking, I always notice this with like a lot of those mixes. They always got small teeth and big gums. Real slender, B cup titties, and they got like teardrop booties. How tall are you, Archie? And how old are you? You 5'10"? You 30? Oh yeah, he might go for you. What you do? You're an executive assistant. You got kids. Now I'm gonna warn you. My brother does listen to a lot of red pill content. He be listening to Fresh and Fit. So, but he's not crazy with it. Like he's not like he's not crazy with it. No, he's not into Joe Rogan. He doesn't. He just listens to, like, if anything, he was like Kevin Samuel. Like he just. But then again, no, he doesn't have issues. He doesn't. He does not. He doesn't. I'm telling you. But then again, I'm gonna be honest with you. Those women that go on Fresh and Fit, they're stupid. I don't know. I don't know. Like the way Myron, whatever his name is, the way. Why would he tell you that he listens to Fresh and Fit though? Well, I'm actually being a bit facetious. I used to joke with him about that all the time. Like, I bet you be listening to that shit. The Fresh and Fit, Myron, the other dude. But he says he listens. But just because he listens, I mean, a lot of men listen to them. That doesn't mean they take it seriously. He's not influenced by them or anything. But they be making some good ass points though. They be making some good ass. I be listening to that shit. That don't mean I always agree with what they're saying, but those bras that they be going on there, I'm like, y'all are stupid. I'm like, why would you go on this podcast? Like, why would you go on this podcast and knowing that these men are going to pretty much ridicule you? Joe Rogan be spitting a lot of facts though, to be honest. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I don't like him. You listen. The thing about Myron and I don't like his delivery sometimes. Sometimes he's just way too over the top aggressive, and I think he also has a very inflated sense of, like, he was on what was the name of that podcast that comes on YouTube where he was debating fat people, and he said something. I'm like, okay, dude, you doing the most. You need to stop. Where he talked about putting fat people in concentration camps. He worked for the Homeland Security. Jubilee, there you go. I'm like, nigga, you put fat people in concentration camps? Really? Really? Like, dude, you are insane. And then he even says something to the effect of, um, if he found out that his dad was cheating on his mom, he would actually congratulate him because he feels like if you're a high earning man, you should have access to, like, an endless amount of pussy. Now, here's the thing about people like him, and I don't understand why guys like him do this. Yeah, I've just heard clips. I've seen the things go viral, and I'll be like, what? But here's the thing: a lot of men low key think that way. He's just saying the loud. He's just saying the quiet part aloud. That's the funny thing. He be saying shit that a lot of men be thinking. They're just too afraid to say it, and they don't have. And also, they're not in a position to execute on the things that he often talks about. Yeah, a lot of men think that way. That's why that shit is so popular. The average guy, first of all, um, aren't there Facebookers now that yap on men that cheat? What do you mean? Low key, most do. A lot think like that. They do. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, a lot of men. But here's the thing. My brother, he's not that type though. He's not that type. My brother is not that type. He's not. For years, my brother was in a long-term relationship, and he was not a cheater at all. So, but here's the thing, Archie, I'm just gonna have to ask you out if cause I could hook you up with my brother if you want to. What I gotta do, I'm just gonna keep it a buck because I am a good matchmaker because I just get down to the nuts and bolts of it, and I can just tell you right now. Here's the thing, you got some good pussy. Can you look in the mirror and say I got some good? I know I got some good pussy. ain't all the same. See, this is the problem right here. Because a lot of men, does my brother use social media? Actually, he uses it just to passively watch content, but he does not post. He is not a poster. My brother's Facebook account, he ain't posted since like 2014. Well, here's the thing. A woman should know whether or not, listen, a man knows if he got some good dick, okay? And a woman should know if she got some good pussy. A lot of times people want to be in denial about their genitalia and whether or not their genitalia actually is, you know. Like if you're a man and you know you got a big dick and you know how to fuck, that really is something that is not, you don't, that's a credential. That means something because not every man is walking around here with, you know, a nice thick dick that they actually know how to use. A lot of men, a lot of us, we're just average. So, you know, it's not to say that you ain't gonna like the dick. It's just, it'll be just, you know, you go, you know. Now, there are men out there who, okay, they may not have, you know, the biggest dick in the world, but they still know how to really, you know, work a woman's body. They know her spots. They know, you know, you know, they just know how to, you know, get that woman revved up. My brother is 37, but he wants to date a younger woman though. So Archie, you would be perfect. You ain't got no kids. Um, I'm assuming now you Mexican. I'm assuming you got some good pussy. Cause, and I'm saying that because usually Mexican women they be having like 7, 8 kids, and to me that's a telltale sign. Mexican women they probably got some good pussy. You got some good pussy. Cause by the time a lot of Mexican women, by the time they turn 25, they already got like 4, 5 kids. But why you ain't got no kids? And what part of California do you live in? You live in LA, Southern California, Northern California? I'm surprised you would you date a black guy? Oh, you live in LA? What part of LA? You say in the barrio? And I know this for a fact because listen, I grew up in Miami, but Chicago's a lot of Mexicans. And I'll never forget, I remember one time when I was driving for Lyft years ago, I had picked up these sisters. I didn't realize, I thought they were friends, right? It was a whole bunch of them. I had picked them up from North Riverside Mall here in Chicago in the suburbs. I was, oh, you guys friends? They were like, no, we're sisters. I was like, oh, okay. And then the oldest one was like, well, but not all of us are here though. We got some more sisters back at home. I said, really? And they were laughing. They were like, yeah. They were like, because these girls were young. They were like, the oldest was like 18, and they had like, then there was like 4 of them in the back, and they were like 16, 15, 14, 13. And then the girl in the front seat, she was like, yeah, the rest of my sisters, they're back at home. I was like, well, how many more sisters y'all got? They were like 4 more. I was like, God damn! A house full of all these young, they were like, yeah, they were like, it's a thing in Mexican culture. And then I was like, really? I was like, well, how old is your mom? Because she goes, yeah, our mom started having us early. And I was like, really? Now, mind you, at the time, okay, I was like 35, 34, 35. This girl said my mom was about 35. I was like, what? I was like, and I literally said, what? I was like, your mom is my age. And she got like 8 kids. Yeah. She was like, yeah, it's a thing in Mexican culture. Like, it's a thing. A lot of women, they get encouraged to start having babies early. For real. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but because even on my other phone, it's a Mexican lady. She got my phone. She didn't have my number. Uh, Before I got this number, she had it. Her, the Section 8 people, food stamp people, they stay hitting up my shit. And she owe a lot of people money too. She would get. I'm like, why are you still giving my fucking number out, lady? Her name is Yarida. Literally, look at this. They got Community Bank hitting me up for her Victoria's Secret card. Bitch, pay them. But she's still to this day still giving out my number like she still got this number, which is fucked up. But yeah, I be having the Section 8 people calling me. Oh, is this Yarida? No, it's not. It's the lady who had my phone number. I have a 773 area code. If you're from Chicago, you know that 773 is the city. And in Chicago, Chicago is pretty much 50% black, 50% his Mexican. And not any other Hispanic ethnic group. It's Mexican. There are a lot. I think Chicago has, outside of LA, we have the highest Mexican population. I'm 872 and 703. 872, where is that? That sounds familiar. That's Chicago. 872 is Chicago. Yeah, Section 8 be calling me. Literally, CHA. Chicago Housing Authority be calling me. CH motherfucking A. Chicago. For her Section 8. For her food stamps. Yeah, I'm like, Yarida. Por favor. Yeah. I was thinking about changing the number too. But she need them stamps because I know she got at least 5 or 6 kids and shit. She do. Chicago is kind of fucked up like that though. Like, I feel like once you go into the city, um, probably 50, 60% of the city's on some sort of assistance, um, except for the white people. They the only, because white Chicago is a whole different world than the rest of. That's why people are like, oh my god, you live in Chicago, and if you're white, you go to Chicago, you are not going past 18th Street unless there's a reason why. Usually it's because you're going to the University of Chicago, Hyde Park, and even then, not really. But white Chicago is a whole different world compared to black Chicago and Mexican Chicago, because there's certain neighborhoods you can't even go into like that, especially if you're black. Now it's kind of changing because some of those areas are getting gentrified, but Chicago, you're black and you go around some of these Mexican neighborhoods, you will get G checked. They will be like, yo, what's that you claiming? Excuse me? Are you GD or BD? Like, the Mexican, and people don't realize this too. The cartels, they pretty much run Chicago. A lot of people don't know that shit. It's a lot of it's a lot of drug trafficking here in the city, but the cartels, they pretty much have a lockdown on Chicago. They run this. That's another reason why I want to leave. Can you answer B? I'm considering University of Chicago for school. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't. You gonna get robbed. They hitting everybody up in Hyde Park now. You gonna get robbed. University of Chicago is one of the best schools in the nation, but trust and believe me, you do not want to live in the damn. You do not want to live in Chicago. You have got to get out of Chicago, especially with this new mayor. I just every year it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. You stay in the West Loop, see, right? Exactly. Mm-mm. You feel safe in Chicago. What part of Chicago you live in? Oh, trust me, University of Chicago was nice, and people are still going there. There's a Korean spot. You talking about what's the name of that place? I've been meaning to go there. Well, I'm born and raised and live here, and I don't plan to leave, but I'm over at Bronzeville. See, that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. And I used to live in Hyde Park, Kenwood, so I already know what you're going through. What part of Bronzeville you live in? Chicago, the King Spot. That's the name of it. Up in I think that's in Niles or somewhere. I've always wanted to go there, but Chicago sucks now. Chicago, Chicago never used to be like that. When I first moved here, Chicago was on point. Chicago was lit. But now, oh no 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 no. You can't even drive around anymore without worrying about getting carjacked. Literally, they even got people shooting up all the white areas that everybody just knew. Oh no, you can't do that over there. Oh no, it's just you could be in Lincoln Park now and get robbed, get carjacked. Were you around when Batman was filmed there? I was. I've been in Chicago for almost 20 years. I'm telling you, Chicago used to be up when. Oh yeah, I'm moving. I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here. We're not trying. I will be leaving pretty soon, probably within the next year or so. Yeah, I'm telling you, and it's like organized crime in Chicago. Like where am I going? I'm debating between Los Angeles, Atlanta, or Miami. Probably, really, probably between LA and Atlanta. I don't think I could go back to Miami, but LA. When I say LA, I really mean Orange County, where the white folks are at. The right folks. I don't do LA. But but I personally prefer LA over Atlanta. I really do. Um, Atlanta is just too niggerish for me. I can't do. But then again, I haven't because I used to live in Atlanta years ago before all the Negroes moved down there and took over. LA is expensive. It is expensive. But I can't. After living in Chicago, I'm over the nigga shit. To be honest with you, I'm so over this shit. Chicago. And first of all, Atlanta ain't nothing but a motherfucking suburb of Chicago. That's all that shit is. That's all that shit is. Anybody who's from Chicago, see, here's the thing. Chicago niggas, they love moving to Atlanta. They done took that place over. When I first moved, I'm originally from Miami. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, but I've been living in Chicago for almost 20 years now. I pretty much became an adult here. Um, you said Miami sounds like the coolest place. The problem with Miami is expensive as shit now. When I tell you Miami is like expensive, it is expensive. You can't even buy a house anymore in Miami. You really can't. But I like Miami. Miami's cool. Like I said, I was born and raised there. I go there all the time. But my parents actually just moved away though. But you know, Miami was definitely affordable. Miami just changed in the last 5 years. Let me tell you something about Miami, okay? At one point in time, I had to leave. I had no choice but to leave because, y'all, the economy of Miami sucks. Up until recently, listen, the only jobs that you get in Miami are like customer service jobs, hotel jobs, tourism, restaurants, blue collar jobs. Miami for years was like you could go get an apartment in the mother in off in off 88th Street, Kendall Drive for like $600 and shit. That was the time you could go on Brickell, okay, and go get a motherfucking condo downtown Miami, Brickell, for like 200 grand. There was a point in time you could go. Listen, Miami used to be so damn affordable. Nobody was really moving there like that. They really weren't. But the pandemic killed that shit. Everybody and their mama, now that Miami done became motherfucking Los Angeles 2.0. And I would argue worse. Because the problem with Miami is, and this is what people don't realize about Miami, Miami is a very dense area. You know why? Because you can only go so west before you hit the Everglades. And the Everglades, really, like from South Beach or Miami Beach, going west, when you go past the airport, go past Doral, you literally, they cannot build, can't build. It's federally protected land. So Miami is just like this strip from all the way from Homestead going up to pretty much West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, that area. You can't build west because it's all federally protected land. It's one big massive swamp. So the thing is now it ain't nowhere to build in Miami. They only got no other choice but to move up. I don't know who's going to win the presidential election. I really can't tell you. At this point, I would not be surprised if Donald Trump wins. I don't want that to happen because that's dangerous. I think Trump supporters don't realize what they're signing up for because when you start to have um, conservative Republicans um, endorsing Kamala Harris, that is scary. That is scary to know that you have like longtime Washington insiders who have been like a part of the conservative Republican establishment for decades, and they're all like, no. The Economist just endorsed Kamala Harris to be president. That should tell you a lot. Do you think he would ruin the economy? Yes, he would. And let me tell you guys something. You don't want Donald Trump to be president because here's the thing. We are on the cusp of another pandemic. It's not being talked about, but bird flu, we about a good year or two away from that shit making a zoonotic jump. And do you really want Donald Trump, a man who's in his 80s, who's pretty much senile? He was already president, though. What do you mean? It was chaos during while he was not a good president. He was a horrible president. He was not good for the economy. I don't know why people keep thinking that. Bro said he was already president. I mean, yeah, George Bush was president, and he fucked up the economy too. I don't know why people would want to vote for Donald Trump. None of his policies actually are. I mean, they only really largely. Donald Trump is going to accelerate the conversion of America into a corporate feudalistic society where multinational corporations pretty much could do whatever the fuck they want to do and not have to pay taxes, are not subject to regulation from the federal government. He wants to do away with the EPA. That's scary. He wants to do away with the EPA. A damn agency created in order to stop pretty much environmental pollution and to ensure that we can have clean drinking water and stop multinational corporations from pretty much fucking up the fucking air quality. He wants to do it with the EPA. He wants to allow fracking. He wants to allow motherfucking drilling. I'm gonna be back to Democratic side when I'm a multimillionaire, though. I mean, what makes you think you're gonna become a multi? Why do you think the policies under Donald Trump are going to suddenly turn you into a millionaire? Because to be quite honest with you, you got to rely on the policies of a president in order to become a multi-millionaire. I don't think it's going to happen. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Conspiracy theories deregulate in a terminal fashion, crash the economy, do technocrats can buy. Yeah, no, that's really what they want to do. I am pretty sure that a lot of these billionaire investors and all these CEOs of some of these bigger multinational corporations are in his fucking ear, and they're like, yeah, you need to win. They're betting on him to win. Even what's his name? Ken Griffin, the owner and CEO of Citadel, they want him to win. 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 Yeah, that's why Elon Musk is going so hard for him. Exactly. Because Elon Musk, he's trying to pretty much. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I love Teslas. I love Teslas. Those are some good ass cars. I love Teslas. I'm about to buy me a Tesla, so I can't even knock it. As I'm telling you, you drive a Tesla, man, you ain't gonna never want to drive another car ever again in your life. You drive one of them motherfucking Teslas. I'm about to buy me one. You drive one of them Teslas. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, what? What in the fuck was I doing buying another? I've heard a lot of bad things about Tesla. I don't know. I don't know. Fuck what you heard, man. I'm telling you. You need to go. Aren't they like only 80K? No, you can get a Tesla for like 40 grand. Well, yeah. How do I feel about Porsche? I've never driven one. Trust me, you want to get I'm telling you, them Teslas is worth it. The motherfucking the charging, the you just gotta get in one. That shit don't make no noise. Teslas are not garbage. That shit don't make no noise. That shit sounds like you are in a spaceship. That shit sounds like one of them cars from Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. No Tesla in Chicago winter. I see Teslas all the time here. I don't know what you're talking about. Nigga, do you even live in America? That profile picture look like you in Senegal or somewhere. I'm getting me a motherfucking Tesla. Oh, you live in Ohio? No, it look like It look like you in some damn meat market about to go buy some bush meat or something. That's what your profile picture look like. You trying to buy some meat, some gorilla meat, and smuggle that shit to Chicago O'Hare International. Ain't gonna have motherfucking start a new pandemic with Ebola and shit. Like that lady who got caught here. Shame on her. That ain't racist. 80% of the meat that's consumed in West Africa, especially in countries like Cameroon, they eat bush meat. I don't know why y'all love it. Y'all be calling everything racist. Listen, listen. That shit ain't. I don't know why motherfuckers be. That's rice house. You talking about the lady who tried to smuggle in that bush meat? You Cameroonian? Wait, look. I'm gonna read the stats to you. I did not. I'm not making this shit up. They gonna start some new shit. We'll have to stock up on some N95 masks and some gloves and shit. What's bush meat? They pretty much monkey meat. They eat gazelles and shit and like wild field rats and that shit is. I saw a documentary about that shit on Vice. I was like, oh hell no! Don't invite me to any of them motherfucking countries. I am good. Have a good night, Robert. Same thing in China. They eat roll. They no. And it no. That truth be told, that's the reason why we need some immigration. That's the reason. No. No, 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 no. Now, don't get it twisted. The white folks, they here in America, they be eating some crazy shit too. Like up in the upper Midwest, they be eating deer and they be getting them prion diseases. Hey, you guys know what a prion disease is? That shit is scary. You know what a prion disease is? Look that shit up. A prion disease. Prions, they're like these deadly proteins. There's no cure for it. And what happens is these proteins, um, they're transmissible and they can get into your brain because you could breathe them in and it'll turn you. They will literally melt your brain in like 2 or 3 weeks. It ain't no flesh eating bacteria. Prions are like they're these proteins that pretty much they they're like they're like these I'm gonna read it to you. A prion is a misfolded protein that induces because what happens is these proteins once they get inside you they cross your blood-brain barrier and then what they start to do is they attack other proteins of your normal cells and they fold them up. Oh, so they become infected from The Last of Us. Well, yeah, and let me tell you what's so scary about them, right? Because it's like usually you have like maybe they give you Alzheimer's. Yeah, you have like maybe like 1 or 2 cases a year where somebody dies from one of these diseases. And when when the pathologist is called in to do an autopsy and they don't know that this person has it, when they actually go in the lab and they do, they run the blood samples and stuff and they find this person had a prion disease, the pathologist is freaking out because they're like, oh, fuck. Because they weren't wearing any type of protective gear or anything like that. They could breathe in it and then they can actually end up getting the disease because it's a transmissible protein. It's not a bacteria. It's not a virus. It's not a fungi. It is a protein, and there's no cures. There's no treatments for it. A lady here in Michigan, in upper Michigan, she was eating some deer meat that she bought from a store. How does this? It's transmissible. I'm telling you, that shit. Mm-mm. Oh, contagion? Yeah. But I don't think that was a prion disease, though. That was a virus from eating that she was eating that bat infected that pig. The prion disease, actually, I think you could breathe it in. I eat vag sometimes. Is it bad? I will tell you, eating pussy, actually, um, there's a lot, unfortunately, fellas. If you love to eat pussy, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There's a lot of research coming out showing that there's a rise in throat cancer as a result of eating a lot of pussy. So if you're a pussy eater, and it's caused by HPV, unfortunately, yeah. Michael Douglas, exactly. Yeah, man, them damn HPV strains. So probably the best thing you got to do is go get a vaccine, because I think they have a vaccine for it. And I love to eat pussy. I can eat pussy. I'm a I'm a bona fide pussy eater. I'll just eat your pussy off GP. Our first college experience, I ate a girl out for like 3 hours. Now, would I ever do that again? No. But of course, it was my first time. But and then I was young. I was young. I was 18. It was the summer, and I was in college, and that was my first time eating some pussy. And it was hilarious too because I had a little some of that little coochie juice on my lip, on my stash, and all day I didn't even take a bath for like 24 hours because I was like, all day I was like, no, it was sweet. It was sweet. It was exquisite. I wonder where she at now. And it was so crazy too. Um, she was a little dark skinned girl, and she had what do they call them? Sometimes they get that dry shit on their hands. Um, I forgot the name of that disease or that skin condition. But the thing, man, let me tell you, eczema. There you go, eczema. It was eczema. But she just had really light eczema. There wasn't anything too bad though. There wasn't anything bad, but she was a little dark, little dark girl. And she was actually my cousin's friend. And my cousin was like, "Nigga, what are you doing?" And but I ate that thing. Let me tell you about them dark skinned girls. She was like the complexion of this phone, but that pussy was so pink. When you open that thing up, it was almost blinding. It was a bright pink pussy. That was a contrast. I felt like I was took some damn magical mushrooms or some shit. And I was hallucinating. I'm like, damn, that's some pink pussy. Yeah, pink. I don't know about them dark girls. I know it's all pink on the inside, but what I'm saying is, it's the contrast, like that going from like dark to pink. Those were some interesting times too. But yeah, I'm a real eater though. I'm a real eater though. I'm a real eater. I'm kind of dangerous when it comes to that too. Cause what's your question, Jen? But now that I'm older, you got to be careful with that. You can't just be eating. You can't. When I think back on those times, um, did you do it completion or were you doing it for nonsense? I will tell you, 3 hours is an exaggeration. I was exaggerating. It was probably more like I would say like 45 minutes. Because the first 15 minutes, she was actually trying to teach me. Because at first I was like a little cat, like licking, licking a paw, like licking a paw. And I was like, and she was like, no, 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 no. And she gave me a good tutorial. It was so crazy. Like she took her time and she really was like, she spread her lips open and she told me, this is this is that, and you work this area. Yeah, she gave me a whole tutorial on how to eat the pussy. Oh my god, that's what my ex did. Did it taste like anything? No, not necessarily. Pussy is supposed to have a little twang to it though, so um, it ain't gonna like it's not gonna good, but good pussy is supposed to have a little. It's supposed to be a bit buttery with a little stank to it, like a little butter, a little stank, you know. But it shouldn't smell. But it's not. It's oh, you never ate pussy before? No, a girl. Now I would tell you. I'm traumatized from bad head. Men swear they freaky but can't eat no cat. It's supposed to smell like pennies and nickels. I don't know about no pennies and nickels. It's supposed to smell like unsalted grass fed butter with a little stank to it. A little it's like a melange of butter. I ain't never done nothing with a girl. How old are you? Don't tell me 17, because if you okay, you 18. Okay, so you legal. Okay, cool. Um, okay, real talk. And I'm gonna give you a good lecture, young man. I'll give you a good lecture, okay? Uh, what? Okay, let me first ask you, how old? Oh, so you say 18. What ethnicity are you? And then, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? Oh, I'm not giving no tutorials. I'm not gonna teach him. No, no, no. I'm gonna try to get him some game on how to get him some play. You're black. Are you fat? Are you in college? I'm not finna flame. I'm finna help him out. I'm finna put him on. You 6'2". You fat? Okay. Number one, go lose that weight. Go lose that weight. Go lose it. You're in the best prime right now. You 18, that shit will melt right off your body. That shit gonna melt right off your body. You all you gotta do is just stop eating bullshit. Stop eating processed. Don't eat out. Don't eat another motherfucking meal from a restaurant, fast food, none of that. Just eat you some damn fruits, vegetables, lean meat, ground turkey, ground chicken, motherfucking lean red meat. Just eat nothing but fruits, vegetables. And you listen, you don't have to break. Wait, do you got a job? You got money? Are you in college? Man, get your ass on a diet, lose that weight, lift weights. Just get that shit up off you ASAP. Cause listen, and I'm gonna be real with you, man. You 18 years old, dude. If I go back and be 18 all over again, I would literally pay for that. If a motherfucker came to me right now and was like, you could time travel, all you gotta do is come up with 100 grand and I could time travel you back to 18, sign me the fuck up. Cause I'm telling you right now, dude, I'm about to give you some game to get you so much endless amount of pussy. You're gonna be like, damn, Quan wasn't lying. Straight number one, dude, lose that weight. Lose that motherfucker. Get in the gym. Get locked in. Listen, tomorrow, well, right now, technically, is November 1st. Give yourself a good year. And listen, don't be following these dudes who tell you no fab, don't watch Corn, none of that. Listen, you got a year. Stroke your thing out. Do what you got to do because you horny. You need some. You a young, you a grown ass man. Okay? You a grown ass man. Young grown man. You raging with testosterone. I hope you're listening to me because I'm giving you some game here, man. Listen to me well. Get that shit up. Give yourself a year and get that body together. Work out. Get all the muscle you can get. Get into a gym. If you can't afford a gym, get you a little part-time job and then get your ass into the gym. Okay? Get that body together. Work on your wardrobe. Get you some nice cologne. You don't have to go all out with that either. And then I'm telling you, get a facial routine, get that shit down. And then if you are in college, I'm telling you, that's the best place. There is an endless amount of, but let me tell you something though. It's different. Today's society is different. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of these younger girls, they on some bullshit. Okay, so here's the thing: don't get no girlfriend. Don't 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 let your heart see the problem with a lot of you young guys. Y'all be looking for that young tenderoni love. Them days is over, bro. Time for you to get out there and bust them down. Get on a program, lose that weight, get rid of that gut. And let me tell you, when you lose that gut and you get rid of them titties, if you got titties, you get rid of all that fat. Your shaboing, is gonna be even crazier. I don't know if you're still in the chat, Jen. I don't know if you're still in the chat now. Here's the thing. You need to get experience. You need to get multiple experience with different women, different young women. Dude, I'm telling you right now, you are too old to be trying to get you a girlfriend. I hate to see a man, 18, 19, like, man, leave that little bitch alone. You just need to mess around. You need to be that nigga. You need to be that dog. And you 18, listen, man, you got all the time in the world. Well, you really don't. You really don't. But from 18 to about 30, you got about a good 12 years for you to really fuck them up. Because ain't no reason why a man below the age of 30 should be out here trying to get married and having kids. That is lame. Between 18 and 30, you should be trying to get at least 100 bodies. 100 bodies. And and listen, getting money and 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 getting punani, they go hand in hand. And let me tell you the reason why. And this gonna sound real. People gonna think I'm lying when I tell you this. The more pussy you get, the more motivating it becomes for you to make more money. Because you're gonna realize that for you to continue that habit and that routine, you're gonna need you some money, and you're gonna want a certain type of pussy. Because not all pussy, it's not worth it. It's not. Pussy is empowering. Getting pussy will make a man feel really empowered. See, a lot of times there's this narrative that's being thrown out there that guys, they be wasting their youth chasing pussy. Let me tell you, I made a video about that. I was low key bullshitting. Man, you better chase you some pussy and chase a lot of it because it's going to empower you. It's going to really turn you into a man. Because see, a lot of these let me tell you what happens to a lot of guys. I want to experience things, but I have to. Man, fuck them. Fuck. You still live at home with your parents? You need to get out. You need to get out that house. If you're not in college, get in the military. Don't hesitate. Do not hesitate. Lose that weight and get your ass in the Navy or in the Air Force ASAP. Do it. And I'm telling you, that's gonna also be another great place for you. And let me tell you, you get in the military too, motherfucker. You get in shape and you get better. Man, you gonna get some motherfucking flat. You gonna get a lot of push in the military. Men use women's bodies as an energy source, and that's why they go so easily steal your energy and dip. Soraya Leitao. What you trying to say, sweetheart? What are you trying to say? Gonna get rejected. Where are you from? You Brazilian? You look good, baby. How old you is? About 23. I'm gonna have to be somebody's sugar daddy. You 18? Oh, okay. No, you too young. You too young. You legal, but you too young. You too young. Oh, I'm cute. Oh, thank you. You in Portugal? Okay, you a bot. Nah, you a bot. You a bot. Mm-mm. You robot now. You doing too much now. Now you starting to act like a real, like you acting like a bot. Are you real? Okay, so right, she gonna extort me exactly. Uh, why? You got you what you look like Princess Jasmine. Okay, so you in Mississippi, Jen, right? Man, you need to get into the military. Get into the military. What are you doing right now? You just graduated from high school, and if you got super religious parents, man, you need to leave. First of all, you need to get out of Mississippi. Y'all still got slavery. I don't give a fuck with nobody. It's still slavery down there. Y'all still got slavery. Are you still in high school? Do you plan on going to college? You need to get as far away. Well, see, here's the problem. You probably gonna have your mammy and your daddy trying to visit you, even if you were to go to college and try to keep tabs on you, especially if they're gonna be paying for you and stuff. But man, I'm letting you know right now, if you got super religious parents and I'm assuming you're not religious, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to be believing in that bullshit. That shit is toxic. It's gonna hold you back. You better detoxify from that shit ASAP because I'm telling you, You don't want to wake up at 35 realizing you done wasted a good chunk of your prime years dealing with religious trauma. That shit, because that shit fucks up a lot of black men too. A lot of these dudes, they end up in these relationships and they get married at a very young age. They have kids and they wake up one day at the age of 35. I am married. They wake up at the age of 35 realizing that that they gonna roll over and look at this boring, prude woman with some dry coochie, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what the fuck, dude?" I'm telling you, you gotta live life. You got one shot at this shit, man. You need to be getting that body together. You need to get in the military, get that body together, get ripped, get shredded. I don't know how much weight, if you don't mind me asking, how much, how overweight are you? How overweight are you? Do you got to lose more than 100 pounds? You 290? Oh, okay. So you good then. All you got to do is just lose about a good maybe 100 pounds. No more than 100 pounds at your height. Dude, I'm telling you. What you doing? You eating a lot of fried chicken? Because y'all be eating a lot of fried chicken and sausage and gravy and biscuits down there. So I know you probably eating real good and stuff. 290 at 18 is diabolical. No, it's not. I was over 300 pounds when I was his age. It depends on how you hold that weight. There are a lot of what do you call it? There are a lot of bigger guys. If you live down south and you're that tall, oh no, he's probably that sounds about right. That sounds about right. The problem is you're in high school, so you can't buy your own food. But what you got to start doing, man, is you got to start pushing that plate back. So when your mama cook you some food, don't eat, just eat half of it, or or shit, pick the skin. If you eat fried chicken, take that skin off. If your mama eats, she making collard greens, just eat the collard greens and take that skin off that chicken, and only eat one piece of chicken. You don't need to eat four pieces of chicken. Just get a big heaping of collard greens and just eat. Just I'll tell you this, dude. I'll tell you this though. If your money is, because obviously you're young and you don't have money, and that's okay. Don't feel guilty about this, because when you're young, you're 18. But a good rule of thumb to want to follow: green faces, greens, just any type of green vegetable, and a protein. Just keep that shit that simple. Lean meat. Now, if you talking about fried chicken and shit, just pull that skin off. Pull that skin off will knock off about a good 200 calories. And then eat collard greens. But not, you don't need to eat no more than one plate. One plate. And then as far as for breakfast and shit, don't eat no motherfucking grits. All them grits do is just gonna make you grow even more bigger titties. Don't do it. Don't eat them. Do not eat them grits. Don't eat no pancakes. Don't eat nothing with grains, no sugar, no wheat, no flour, none of that. Just eggs and the meat. And don't eat no damn 6, 7 slices of bacon either. Eat you no more than like 2 or 3 slices of bacon and some eggs and maybe an apple. If you guys got fruit in the house, let that be your first meal of the day. And then whatever your mom cooks at night, she might make a meatloaf. Have no more than 2 slices of meatloaf and some vegetables. But stay away from that bread. Stay away from all that starch. I'm telling you, just follow this rule. Just stay away from those starches. You will drop that weight so quick. Before you know it, nigga, you gon' Okay, so that's number one. But you never told me, are you trying to go to Are you trying to go to college? No rice, no bread, none of that. If you're trying to lose that weight quick, you need to get on a protein sparing modified fast. That pretty much means nothing but lean meat and greens. Don't fuck with that rice. It's too insulinogenic. Same thing with bread. It's just all it's gonna do is just keep shooting up your blood sugar. It's just gonna make you. You're not planning on going to college. Okay, so what's your plan then? Because I'm telling you right now, the last thing you want to do is mess around with a country Mississippi hood rat. They got some good pussy. That hood rat pussy, that young hood rat pussy, I'm telling you, it's good. It's good. It's good, but baby, you let one little sperm cell get up in that coochie, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Your life is fucked. Because now you're going to be trapped in Mississippi taking care of a baby. And your baby mama, she just going to be loud, nasty, obnoxious, just driving around the city with her bonnet on, cussing people out, getting into the fight at the nail salon because she don't want to pay Sue Ming Lee the $50 for her nail set. She getting into it with bitches at the apartment complex because another bitch claiming that you fucked her, got her pregnant. Dude, I'm telling you, that hood rat pussy is good, but it's a okay. Now, Killer Cam, you asked me what about advice for women? How old are you, Killer Cam? How old are you? You look good too. How old are you? You're 20 years old. What do you do? Are you in college? LSU. Oh, okay. So you LSU. What are you studying? And are you attracted to black men only, or are you open? Okay. Here's my thing for women. Women's advice is a little bit different. Okay. Women are in a very precarious situation. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a very precarious situation. It's not talked about enough. Here's a dilemma about being a woman in today's society. On one hand, you can't be relying on no man. You can't. Like, the only drawback that I have with like Sheer Seven's advice, especially in context of this particular conversation, is that her whole entire strategy is predicated upon being way too reliant on a man to take care of everything for you. And that's dangerous because, especially when you're young, the last thing you want to do is find yourself pretty much becoming a housewife to a man who's promising you to take care of you and that he wants you to stay at home, pay, and he's going to pay all the bills, and all he wants you to do is stay at home and take care of his kids. What happens when he wants to suddenly step out on a marriage, or he doesn't want to deal with you anymore, and now he wants a divorce? Because a lot of those guys tend to have those type of issues too. Because I'm sorry, but to tell a woman, well, I prefer you stay at home and do this and do that and but uh, you know, tell women to get their bag. Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. I'm hoping that that was the case because you cannot rely on no man. Because the last thing you want to do is find yourself in a situation where you marry a college sweetheart, and he's making a lot of money. You stay at home, you get pregnant, you take care of kids. years go by. This man suddenly, you go through his phone one day, you find out that whole entire time he's telling you that he's going to the gym to work out with his friends, and he's pretty much sucking dick, or he's going off and meeting up with some other, side hoe or somebody, you know. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. He'll just leave. He bikes it and leaves his damn window on, and his computer window open, whatever, and you see or you go through his phone, he got a whole camera roll of him just sucking dick, or him getting his dick sucked by somebody else. You kissing this man every night faithfully. You don't realize them lips done been on another man's dick, and yeah, and then next thing you know, you want a divorce, but you didn't have a job, you don't have shit. No. You gotta make sure that you always are good on your own end, because these guys out here, this is super dangerous. Okay, so, but at the same time, you can't be too independent. You can't be one of these independent. I don't need a nigga for nothing. I'm good. I don't need a man. I'll just have my roles and play with my pussy on my own, whatever. Because here's the problem with that, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. You need a man. And by need a man, meaning you want companionship. You want romance, okay? Women who have that type of attitude are more than likely going to find themselves being disconnected from the reality of being competitive as a woman, competing with other women, meaning it's very easy to let yourself go. And by the time you get old enough to realize, okay, this is getting a little bit too much and now you're lonely, you don't want to be 40 years old, single as a woman, then realizing, oh shit, like, am I really going to spend the rest of my life like this? Because nobody really wants to be single by the time you hit a certain age. Now, you don't also want to get into a fucked up marriage or relationship just because you're lonely or desperate or, whatever, but you definitely don't want to settle for any old man too early on, and then you don't want to wait forever. You don't want to wait forever. My advice, and this is really for any woman and really for everybody, for even a man, become the best version of yourself before you go out here and you date. Because 9 times out of 10, when you are really secure in who you are as a person, you are the healthiest you could be, you're lean, you're attractive, you're on top of your fashion, your grooming, your hygiene, you have a good job, your credit is good, you have your own place, your own car, you don't have any real issues going on, okay? When you are operating at the highest version of yourself, you more than likely will attract the right person for you who is going to match that frequency. Because the thing is, you are internalizing a set of standards that just off the rip, you're not going to negotiate. Like, there's no reason why a young woman who's about 28, 29 years old, making $120,000 a year as a marketing coordinator or a brand manager, for a company. You live in Atlanta. You got a 780 credit score. You drive a nice car. You don't have that much debt, and you're in shape, and you know you look good. you probably are going to find a guy. You probably will. And let me tell you something. A lot of these women out here who are like 37, 38 years old, and you hear them on the internet complaining, like they get on what's her name's podcast. You see some of those girls, some of those women that get on Ashley Dalton's podcast, not podcast, her show, or even like when Kevin Samuels was alive, and I'm like, and what's her other name, Kendra G, and I was sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, these women talking about, oh, I'm trying to attract a certain type of guy, da 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 da. But this one lady called in. Her voice was so hoarse. You could tell she smokes a lot of cigarettes and blunts and stuff. And then her whole entire energy was just so ghetto. And and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but men don't like ghetto women. They don't. And I think a lot of times black women have a hard time uh, understanding this. Like the the ghetto aesthetic. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly, yeah. Like the whole ghetto aesthetic. That shit is not a man who really has his shit together. A black man who really has his shit together. He's not gonna find that attractive at all. It's a tad embarrassing, to be honest with you. Um, it's not feminine. It comes off as rough, obnoxious, um, combative. Um, it just evokes bad energy. It's just not rude. Yeah, it just river rats, exactly. Yeah, river rattery. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, and Ashley, and I'm telling you, the advice she gives, it is 110% spot on. And a lot of women know it. That's the reason why she has a huge following. Because a lot of black women know she ain't lying. She ain't lying. Everything I've ever heard her say out of her mouth, she is 1,000% correct. I would definitely, whatever advice you gotta stay, yeah, and heavily tatted, that is a turn off. Now, if you got some tattoos here and there, that's one thing. But this whole, like I was talking to my wife about this earlier, because I was saying how like everybody gaslights on this. Oh, I don't get tattoos for anybody else. I got them for myself. And but why did you go out and get tattoos all over your chest, your arms, your legs, your neck? Even if you could cover them up, like, why did you do that? You're doing that because you're doing that because you're trying to reach a certain aesthetic. You're trying to portray a certain aesthetic. And I don't know why people like to be in denial about this. A lot of guys, especially a lot of black men, you get all those tattoos, nigga, you look scary. You are in the streets. I'm sorry, there's no reason for you to get all those tattoos if you're not about that life. Because when did you even have time to go to a tattoo parlor and sit in there for hours and letting somebody just scribble all over you like that? And then the pain. If you were working a real serious, think about this for a second now, guys. If you were working a real serious 9 to 5 corporate job, when are you going to have the time to then go get tatted up like that and to deal with that type of pain? Because that pain lasts for days. So, and right, and then the money, and then you end up looking like, especially when you're black, you end up looking like a motherfucking Chipotle bag. Those tattoos clearly evoke, I am from the streets. Give signs of messed up priorities. Right, that's what it comes off as. So that, especially as a woman, mm-mm. got that pretty brown skin, and you went and you got that shit etched up. Etched up. That's no, that is not ladylike. And as a man, I don't think you should be doing. I'm getting mine removed. Quan, I got a question. What's your question, sweetheart? Um, but yeah, you're a young black girl, man. You better. And let me tell you something else too about uh this is advice for a lot of young black women. Stop trying to build these niggas up. I think we're kind of getting beyond that now, and I think a lot of women now have better. They have way more sense than they did when I was in my 20s and 30s, because a lot of women, they be giving men way too many chances. Like, don't be marrying no dude based on potential. If that nigga don't have his shit together, he don't know nothing about credit. If he don't know, if I'll tell you what's a red flag. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If you're a man and you've never had your own place, why are you messing with a dude like that? Get with a guy who he's had his own place. 25, 26. There's no reason why you should be 30 years old still trying to get your, like, no. That's crazy. I had my own place when I was 25. It's not that hard. It's not. You just got to make three times the rent. And you don't. And listen, here's the thing. People are like, oh, well, that, who can afford that? Let me tell you what the real problem is. Motherfuckers out here, 24, 25, trying to get a luxury apartment because it's some shit you see on social media. Motherfucker, if you don't go down to the damn Rosemore Apartments off in the cut and get you a white fridge apartment as a starter, it would be better for you to do that than to be still living at home with your mammy. You want to live at home with your mammy. If you don't go and get that $900 apartment and start from there and then move your way on up. Tattoos is culturally acceptable, and they say, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. I think that's the biggest. It's not. It's a lot more common. It doesn't mean it's more acceptable. I'm telling you right now, if you're a black man, you don't need to be getting all them tattoos. You're just making your life harder. I'm sorry, but you should not be going out here getting all them damn tattoos. I remember you saying, now girls is different. Women can stay at home until uh, they pretty much get married. See, it's different for women, but a guy. No, no, in a more positive way with no ties, exactly. Now, when I say go out and get a basic apartment, what I'm saying is I think it also depends on where you live. If you're here in Chicago, you, oh my God, this damn TikTok, I keep getting flagged. If you're here in Chicago, you're not going to be able to out the gate unless you have a lot of money. You're not going to just walk up into no damn apartment complex, luxury apartment complex, and get a 3,000 square foot apartment. They ain't gonna, I mean, a $3,000 a month apartment. It ain't gonna happen unless you got the money, of course, and you got a good job. But you're gonna there are decent apartments that don't have the whole shebang. You don't have no pool, don't have no fitness center and shit. A lot of these motherfucking apartment buildings now, they're like fucking hotels. Why does it I keep getting flagged, guys? I think somebody's reporting my lives. Oh, they said that I was I was stereotyping and promoting demeaning statements. Wow, TikTok is on bullshit. I be telling the truth though. I know it's so sad. But yeah, them tattoos. That shit hurt. I have not gotten a tattoo since like 2016. Those things hurt. They hurt. You be sick and nauseous afterwards. Hold on. Somebody asked me another question. What do you mean by the state of age of majority is set at 21? What do you mean by that? Hold on. I'm scrolling up here. I got a man finally at 35. He wants to marry me down, but Marvel. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Marvel, you didn't finish the rest of your statement. Quan, what's my opinion about loose skin? I don't have an opinion about loose skin. It's gonna happen if you got the if you don't if the genetics if you don't have the genetics. It's almost an inevitable reality, depending on your genetics. There's nothing you're really going to be able to do. What tattoos I got them. See, pyramids and shit. When I was going through my hotep phase, I got a whole bunch of tattoos actually. You're not considered to be an adult until you're 21 in Mississippi, apparently. Oh, really? That's and I'll tell you right now too. Hey, don't get it. Don't be smoking no weed and don't smoke no weed and don't start drinking. To be honest with you, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I did in college. That shit is not good for your brain when you're that young still. I don't think. Yeah, and drink a lot of water, and exercise. Yeah, yeah, drinking does age you. It really does. You got me thinking about removing all my tattoos. You should look into it depending on how many tattoos you got, though. Well, I've been seeing some of these dudes. I mean, they just be looking like I got a cousin. He's cool and all. My cousin Rashad. He's cool. He's down to earth. But if you were to see this nigga, you would think that he's a full-fledged, bona fide gang member. Cause all them tattoos all on his chest, his body, his arms. I'm like, nigga, what? All these motherfucking tattoos. I want to get my ears pierced. I used to have my ears pierced. Don't do that either. Don't do that. Listen, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but if you're black, we got double standards, man. If you want to look like you from the streets, all power to you. Go ahead and get your ears pierced, but just don't be mad when these white folks be judging you. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, you living in their society. This is not our country. Yeah, we technically are American, and black people, blah blah blah. This is not your country. This is a white man's country. Your ass gotta get acclimated. You gotta assimilate. You gotta assimilate. It's just some things. Another thing too, I be seeing these dudes, and I know I'm gonna sound very, really culturally insensitive saying this. This is not their land either. Oh, it's their land. It's their land. Hey, y'all, listen. The white man came over here and took that shit from Native Americans and made it their own. It's their land. It's theirs now. Accept it and deal with it and move on. We don't need to go back and litigate history and talk about all this happened, the massacres. Nah. Man, it's the white man's land. Your ass living in white society. This is a white people. Tell that to Bob and Karen over in nah, they just live here like the rest of us. This is their work. No, this is their shit. It's theirs. We're a minority. We don't have no power. We ain't got shit. First of all, black people are at the bottom of the barrel. We are literally at the bottom of the barrel. I think it's sad that African Americans don't know their ancestors' origins. Um, yeah, but you know what? I'm glad to be in America. Because I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Um, you ever been to Switzerland? It's better. I'm pretty sure it's better than America. But here's the thing. You know why don't white folks over in Europe and Sweden and Denmark and Switzerland, you know why that shit can work? Because they ain't got to deal with niggas like that. Small, culturally homogenous population of white people, and they all get along. It's like being in one big ass suburb. But when you gotta deal with niggas, it changes the dynamics of everything. They don't have nigga problems. They don't. Are we that bad? Are we that bad? Listen, hey, listen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when you see Black America celebrating the release of Young Thug and Big Meech, niggas out here crying because Lil Durk got arrested. And black culture is black culture is heavily rooted in criminality, and I know that that's a very horrid thing to say, but I have come to grips with that. I have come to understand that our culture is largely dysfunctional, and we celebrate criminality. We celebrate that shit. We do. We celebrate criminality. And here's the thing, people, you can debate me all you want on this, but the fact that our leading television shows all are based on storytelling of criminals, drug dealers, kingpins, people in the streets. Mm-mm, no. The leading black television shows all celebrate, well, I shouldn't say celebrate, but it's all storytelling based on criminality. Now, all of you guys, yesterday I saw an elegant black woman on CNN. Oh, you know, you don't live in America. Do you live in America? You don't live in America. I don't think you live in America. Baby, let me tell you. Um, the vast majority of black folks, mm-mm, they love that shit. That street shit. And that, from Saudi, oh man. Oh yeah, nasty. You don't, let me tell you something. You come to America, you're gonna change your mind real quick. Fuck around and find out. Come to DC. come to motherfucking DC, and I'm gonna take you to the southeast. I'm gonna drop you off in southeast DC. Your ass get mugged by Quantavious, or when you go to a gas station and you see, man, I don't know. Black folks be in denial about this shit. I don't know why we be gaslighting each other on this, because the vast majority of black culture is just in the trash. I mean, it is. It really is. The music. I mean, all of the leading Aunt you Quantavious. That's not my real name, but the leading black musical artists are. They all are rappers that literally glorify violence. Like, that is insane when you think about it. Y'all don't think that's crazy? The older I get, the more I be listening. I'm like, why the hell? Why do you think I went to a PWI? Yeah, I went to a PWI too. Let me tell you, I went to UF. And see, I was so stupid and naive back then because I was on some Huey Newton motherfucking um, house music isn't trash. That's one of ours. But that's not the leading content that black people are consuming now. These young, let me tell you something. Y'all, we got a problem. We have a problem. We got a cultural problem. We can't be in denial about this anymore. Cause and our older black people warned us too. And and let me tell you, black folks, I remember growing up in the 90s. If you old enough to remember, they were telling us for years. Them older black people were like, that rap music is going to be the undoing of black America. They weren't lying. They were not lying. That the way that shit has shifted black America, that shit is so fucking pathetic and sad. Mm-mm. It was degenerate even back then. Don't let these older old heads try to gaslight you and say, "Oh, it was so different back then." Though no, it wasn't. They were doing it. In fact, they were doing worse shit. They were doing the drug dealing that they were doing back in the day. The selling drugs and crack and oh my god. Do you remember that lady who was trying to get rid of rap music? Yeah, I remember her. I forgot her name. That shit is horrible. That shit is garbage. And it's a really sad reflection of the lack of values in black America. Like the collective culture is trash and it's been that way for decades now. Even my mom would tell me all the time, she's like, man, because my mom was born and raised in Liberty City. That shit didn't start in the 80s either. That niggatry has been going on now since like the 60s, to be honest with you. It's been going on for a minute now. Niggatry has been around for about a good 60 years. Because even back then, they was doing a lot of dirt. Back in the 60s and the 70s, back then it wasn't crack. It was that skag. It was that Ron. They was gang banging back in the day too. Jeff Ford. It's the rap. It's not the issue. It's what they rap about. Exactly right. And then they want to blame the white man and Jews for promoting this. What they see is you hear some guys out there, oh, this the white people that are taking advantage of us. No, they're not. They giving y'all a platform, but nah, y'all they love that shit. Sexy Red is also the videos of excessive alcohol, guns. It's all of it. And to be honest with you, it's not even just the music. It's just the mindset It's the overall collective cultural mentality that is so deeply embedded within a large chunk of Black America. A good number of Black people, quite honestly, have criminalistic dispositions. They really do. Even in my own family. I'm telling you, I be seeing this shit. I'm like, this shit is crazy. How do we drift apart like this? I see this shit even in my own family. I literally have cousins that are in the streets like that. And I'm like, for what? Why? What are you doing? There's no reason why you should be out here like this. That's why I said I'm trying to get away from these N words. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to find me like a area that has not been um, negatized. See, why we gotta blame the white man? I ain't blaming the white man for shit. The white folks be out here trying to help. They be feeling sorry for us, like, oh my god, those people. Oh my god, those people really need our help. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get away from them N words. That's what I call them now. I'm talking to my wife, I'm like, oh my god. I'm telling you, the older you get, the less you be like, man, I don't want to deal with them folks. I see Black people moving into our area. I'm like, it's time for us to go. It's time. What's the saying? Where there's more than three, I must flee. And people are like, oh, this is self-hating. This is so sad. It ain't sad. I already know. Cause see, no. When I first moved to this where my wife and I live, it was no issues. We used to. I'm not trying to be racist. We used. I listen. We had. It was nothing but old white people. Soon as niggas started moving in, it's been issues. The sheriffs, they be coming by every couple of months now to evict people. Uh, we didn't had. When you live in cities like where I'm from, you'll think like this. I promise. What city? What Where are you from? Cause I done been around niggas all my life, so I know I'm not a. I think when I talk like this, sometimes, oh yeah, see, you from Memphis? Oh no, yeah, yeah. If I was from Memphis and I got away from that shit will legitimately turn you into a Klan member. Like sometimes I be sitting back and I be like, I can see why racism exists. Cause niggas they be doing some shit. I'm like, oh no, the white folks they were right. They were right. And I be telling too. I see some niggas walking down the street. I call the police. I'm like, hey, I don't know what, and they could be minding their own damn business. I be like, oh no. Like, officer, I see some Negroes. You might want to go check them out. I don't know who these people are. Nah, I don't go that far. I'm just playing. I don't do that. But no, mm-mm. I'll be clutching my shit too. I don't be trusting these. I don't be, mm-mm. Soon as I seen one of them young nigga crash outs walking down the street, they bobbing their head, spewing them rap lyrics, pants sagging with their booties out. I walk on the other side of the street. I don't trust them niggas. Toronto, Ontario is on the dangerous city list. Is dangerous in Toronto? Really? That's crazy. I would have never even thought that. Yeah, I don't even look at them either. I don't. And one thing about me, when it comes, especially with the police, I obey the law. I love the law. If I were to ever get pulled over, I did it. Officer, I did it. Just go ahead. I am wrong, officer. I apologize. Before they can even tell me what happened, they could be just pulling me over because there could be some other shit. I'm like, officer, I'm wrong. I am sorry. What did I do? Yeah, I don't have, yeah, all that arguing with the police and shit. I be like, nigga, what are you doing? I be seeing some of these videos. I be like, oh no. No, this nigga gonna die. But you know what? you know, and I'm not trying to be funny, but oh yeah, I'm a sovereign citizen shit. I'm an Israelite. All this other shit that I be seeing. I'm like, these niggas are legitimately crazy. That's some low IQ shit, to be honest with you, real talk. Cause I'm sorry, but I be seeing these interactions with the police. The police, they just be so patient. I see. This is I couldn't be no cop. Cause the minute you come at me with some bullshit like that, I would be like, let me go ahead and mace this nigga and pull him out the car and put him in the back of my shit and take his ass to jail. I would just go ahead and pull the. You can't pull me over. I'm a sovereign citizen. I just pull out the taser. Shut the fuck up. Just drag his ass out that damn car. Put the cuffs on him and throw him in the back of the cruise and haul his ass off. Because anybody talking like that, they don't need to be free. They don't need to be no sovereign. They don't need to have no damn rights. They need to go. They need to go to jail. Because 9 times out of 10, people like that, they got problems. They probably abusive. They probably mistreat their children. They probably steal. They. I'm telling you, you got to be kind of. You not kind of. You probably are like that. And it's yeah. I mean, she went out kind of crazy, but that Corinne Gaines girl, and the people be talking about her, even with Sandra Bland, the shit that she was doing. I don't know why people turn her into a victim. Because I'm sorry, but she brought that whole entire situation on herself. I never felt sorry for her. She low-key pissed me off too. When I saw that video and the way she talked to that officer, I'm like, you're wrong for that. And you know your mama raised you better than that. Nobody would sit up there and have cigarette smoke uh, blown in their face like that. That would have pissed me the fuck off. That would have, that shit would have pissed me the fuck off. Like you doing all that, like you get mad because you're not following. You what do you mean? You just switching lanes, not put on your turn signal, and you get mad because you got pulled over for that, and the officers just simply asking you, well, how are you feeling? How was your day? What's going on? And you got a nasty attitude, and you just getting all nasty and disrespectful with him, and I'm like, well, you were the one who broke the law. Now, truth be told, he did a little bit too much too. He should have just walked away. So I do think that he escalated that situation. He should have been held accountable. Do I think he needed to have gotten fired? I think that was extreme. I think trying to make it seem like if it wasn't for him that she would still be alive, that's a bunch of bullshit. But as far as what she did, that I don't know. She did way too much. And the thing about her the reason why I never liked her, she was off because let me tell you, what do you think happened to her? She committed suicide. That's what happened to her. There's no conspiracy with that, none whatsoever. Why in the hell with this random ass jail? They got cameras all over the place. They had already proven 1,000 times over that she literally. You know what my theory is? Let me tell you what happened. You know what my real theory is? Her people. I think they knew that she was on some bullshit. Cause let's go back and let's relitigate this whole entire situation. She got arrested and thrown in jail on a Friday afternoon. She was supposed to have started a job that Monday. The whole entire weekend she was trying to call her people up, and they all were just kind of like, they apparently they were having a hard time trying to come up with the money to bail her out. But I was like, I didn't buy that story either. I think they had the money. I just think that they were probably that probably was not the first time. I know for a fact it wasn't the first time she had gotten in trouble before. Like, she had problems. She had mental issues. Cause let me tell you, before they took down her page, y'all, let me tell you something about the girl too. She's from here. She's from Chicago. In fact, she's from the western suburbs of Chicago. She used to go. Who's from Chicago? If anybody still in the chat from Chicago? She used to go to Oak Brook Mall, not Oak Brook Mall, Lombard Mall, and she used to sit up in there in the food court. She used to be up in the food court with a damn Black Lives Matter sign, protesting inside of a black. And then when the security came and they were like, "You can't do this here," she was getting flippant with them. She was literally inside y'all. Listen, she was inside of a fucking mall food court protesting, doing Black Lives Matter activism and shit. You don't think that that's crazy? You don't think that's insane? Inside of a food court? That's still a sister, Quan. I can't side with the cops. She ain't my sister. Just because she black, that's your sister. You don't know that, Afro. Mm-mm. I don't do that. I don't. Just because we the same skin tone, you ain't gonna try to pull me into your bullshit. I think she was not mentally stable. I'm sorry, she wasn't. She wasn't. She wasn't. But she also had a big bag of weed on her, and I think one of the other reasons why she was flipping out when she got pulled over is because of that weed that she had on her, and she ate that bag of weed. And you know what my suspicion is? Yeah, she ate it. She ate it because when they did the autopsy on her, she had a high level of THC in her system. It's my suspicion, honestly, that she had a psychotic meltdown. I think she realized that she wasn't going to be able to start her job on Monday because she wasn't be able to get she couldn't get bonded out in time, and she essentially knew because she had just moved down to Dallas, I believe, Dallas or Houston, and she didn't have her shit together. She virtually had no money. She was starting a new job, and she was staying with a friend, quote unquote, a friend. It was a man, and she had been trying to call him to get her to get him to bail her out or something like that. But her bond, it was only like $400, guys. It wasn't a lot of money. Like she had no money on her. Like she couldn't even bond. Like she just was that. She was just that broke. Just moved down to Texas with no. It was for like $400, and that was one of the reasons now why they're like, oh, we got to get rid of cash bail. This is so. I'm like, what? She moved down there with no money, no resource. Like, and then I think it's quite her sisters. When I've listened to their interviews, I'm like, they're not telling the full story. They're trying to spin a narrative, and that sucks. It sucks that they would do that because, of course, they're going to try to protect their sister and try to make her be something that she probably really wasn't. But they knew they knew she had issues. They knew she had issues. They knew she had a lot of issues too because I think she was bipolar. It was something off with her. And I think she realized that, and I think she tried to attempt a suicide in order to get out and then have an excuse that she could tell her new job that she had a medical reason, she had a medical issue that popped up, and that was the reason why she couldn't start her job on Monday. I don't think she intentionally sought out to kill herself, but they did multiple autopsies and they proved that she committed suicide. But because how they proved that she didn't commit suicide, let me tell you, pathologists, they can prove just about anything. Murders, they could. We talking about Sandra Bland. When somebody dies, as soon as they crack open your chest, they can tell you everything about your life, your body. They know they could tell when somebody had high blood pressure. They could tell when somebody had, a fatty heart, or like there's things that they could do that they can tell that somebody committed suicide, and that it was not like just like the sheer force of like how that person's like because she hung herself with a I think a towel. No, she hung herself with a garbage bag. That's what it was. But they just know, like, based on how the body was discovered and, the time of her death, they have ways of knowing that somebody was murdered or if it was a suicide. It's very easy to tell for a pathologist. And the state, they can prove it in many ways. Yeah, they got ways. That shit, they got multiple ways of proving. The state did a autopsy. Her parents, or I should say, her mom and sisters, they commissioned to get an independent autopsy. Like, I think she had like 3 autopsies, and they all said the same thing. They were like, "Yeah, she committed suicide." And a lot of people did not want to believe that. In fact, during that time, Black Lives Matter and all these, they were trying to make it seem like it was a conspiracy, and I'm like, this is really fucked up. I'm like, this is really fucked up. Wait, how did she die again? She committed suicide. Remember, she got locked up. She was in jail for like 3 days, and she committed suicide. The other one that Black America is not ready for, though, is even with Trayvon Martin. Now that one fucked me up because I just knew Trayvon Martin was innocent. She had issues though. She had issues, Sandra Bland. I think she had issues. Plus, she ingested all that weed. Tamir Rice for me still. Well, I don't. I never did any too much digging into Tamir Rice. But what I do know is in all of these situations where these black people have been killed, the ones where the cops got off, 9 times out of 10, when you go back and you look at the actual case, the trial, the evidence, and you get beyond the narratives and the bullshit on social media, you will be blown away. You'll be like, because the thing is, nobody is watching these trials. Nobody is actually paying attention to the evidence when everything is happening in real time, right? But when you go back and you listen to some of this shit, you look at the evidence that was collected and this, you be like, oh, yeah, about that. Yeah, it looks like George Zimmerman actually was telling the truth and that he was being attacked by Trayvon Martin. And what blew me about that whole entire situation with Trayvon, yeah, that's what happens when emotions run high. Is exactly what happened. Because the one thing that the media did, and they did such a good job, they would deliberately use these pictures of Trayvon when he was like younger. He did not chase down Trayvon. He didn't. He did not. That's not exact. That is not what happened. It's not. That story is so crazy when you go back and you read all the evidence, the cases, they literally had eyewitness testimony. And not only did they have eyewitness testimony, but the dispatch calls, yeah, that wasn't Trayvon who was screaming. That was George Zimmerman on the ground getting his ass whooped. Because George Zimmerman is like 5'3", old pudgy Hispanic dude, looking like he picked fruit. Trayvon is like 6'2", 6'3", over 200 pounds, and he was not. You making it seem like he was following him, like he was trying to like. That's not what happened. I'm telling you, that's not what happened. Trayvon, yeah, Trayvon was beating the fuck out of him. He was beating the shit out. Let me tell you what happened. And it's now granted, he was being a bit. Now I'm gonna give you this, Briscoe. He was being a vigilante, but you gotta keep in mind, George Zimmerman was the neighborhood watch. It was storming that night and it was raining really bad, and he saw him, and the way he was walking and where he was walking, George Zimmerman initially approached him because he thought he was lost. And when he asked him, well, hey, what's going on? Are you lost? Do you need help? Trayvon out the rip had an attitude. Now, the dispatch did tell him, don't, let him be, we'll send the police out there. But he insisted. But here's the thing. Despite him insisting, right, uh, Trayvon, he went in. He did his, boy. He put that, when you see them, those pictures, the way that man, he fucked him up. He fucked him up. And the other thing is, uh, he was wrong, George Zimmerman, for initially following him. But at the same time, once Trayvon initiated it was Trayvon who initiated the fight and everything, and started to proceed to like beat his ass. And here's the crazy thing. This is the thing that really blew my mind. And I'm going to leave it at this. And this how you know it was some shady shit going on. Why? Remember the girl Rachel Jantel? The one who was supposed to be Trayvon's girlfriend? The big fat girl who liked Precious? Why was that whole entire story concocted? That shit was made up. Yeah, the one who couldn't speak English. It was made up by motherfucking uh, Benjamin Crump and the mama. They literally, because his real girlfriend, she did not want to, she was the one who was on the phone. She knew exactly what was happening. And they went to her and they were like, you need to come testify and say that you heard Trayvon trying to defend his life and this is what happened. She was like, I ain't doing that. I ain't get it. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. That's literally what she said. She told them, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that shit. And they pretty much were like, you need to come on now, you gotta do it. She was like, nope. So you know what they did? They went and then they used her half sister. Can y'all believe that? They went and concocted this whole entire thing and then used the half sister to be the one to act like the girlfriend. That's the reason why she was stumbling on that damn witness stand. Because her ass, she knew she was lying. All that eye rolling is that's illegal, right? It is. It is. And there was a whole entire documentary made about this shit. And what was so crazy was the documentary filmmaker, he actually tracked her down. Her name was like Diamond Johnson. He tracked her ass down, the real girlfriend, and met up with her in Tallahassee, Florida, because she was going to FAMU at the time. And she kind of low-key spilt the deets on why she did not, she pretty much told him in so many words, yeah, they were trying to get me to get on stand and lie about what really went down. And then let me tell you, Trayvon, boy, that Negro was a hothead. He was trouble. And then the whole the Skittles and iced tea. Let me tell you, you know what he was doing that with that, right? You remember how they were trying to infantilize it? Oh, he was just going to get some snacks. No, Trayvon was going to go make him some lean. He was about to go make him some lean. Yep, exactly. This nigga was about to go make him, yes, dead serious. He was about to go make him some lean. And the only reason why, I'm not picking the truth, I'm trying to give you the facts. The only reason why, yeah, pour up his double cup, and the only reason why he was even in Orlando, because remember, he was from Miami. He got kicked out of high school because his ass was constantly getting into fights, gang banging, and he was trying to purchase. There was what do you call it? I think he also, how you make lean with Skittles and iced tea. It's just called, they put Skittles in the what do you call it? In the promethazine. You talking about a mob? Now that situation was different though, dude. You comparing apples with oranges. Those men are in jail. What are you talking about? They are literally in jail. How are they the same? This is a whole entire different set of circumstances and facts. I think you're just not familiar with the whole entire situation. I think you're just picking and choosing what you want to believe to be true. I mean, that's just, I mean, that's obviously what you've been doing the whole entire night. But I'm telling you, that Trayvon Martin shit was crazy. Nah, they were doing more than being neighborhood vigilantes. Comparing what they did to what they did to what do you call it? No, you compare, dude. You comparing apples and oranges. They even listen. That the father was a retired cop and he was a known racist. Not to mention, okay, didn't the prosecutor get caught up as well too? It was a whole entire cover up. They tried to get the prosecutor, the local prosecutor. She tried to cover up evidence and lie. I forget exactly what she did, but I think she's in prison too. This is apples. This is a whole. Listen, there were witnesses, eyewitnesses, who saw Trayvon fucking George Zimmerman up. They all testified. They were like, yeah, he was getting his ass whooped. That man's when they brought him in that night for interrogation. Actually, he was supposed to have gotten off, and they were going to let him go because it was so clear he pretty much used his weapon in defense at a certain point. Because okay, listen, here's the thing: if your neighborhood, if you're, I'm telling you, that whole entire situation essentially boiled down to self-defense, and that's the reason why George Zimmerman was able to walk away. Because even though he didn't have the right to go and because remember he did not start fighting Trayvon. Trayvon started that. Going and asking somebody, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? How can I help you? What's going on?" That is not a crime. That's not a crime. Just because, dude, if a white guy comes up to you and you're in a neighborhood and you're walking through a neighborhood and a white man comes up to you and is like, "Hey, are you lost? You need help? What's going on?" That's not a crime. You don't get arrested. You're not going to get that person is not going to go to jail. And that doesn't give you the right to then turn around and proceed to start beating my ass. So long as I did not put my hands on you, even if he wasn't trying to help him, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Even if he wasn't trying to help him, if he was questioning him and be like, "What are you doing around here? I'm going to call the cops on you." He never, if he did not put his hands on him, he never did. Trayvon literally he told him to get away and he warned him. He told him, "I'm going to beat you. I'm going to fuck you up if you don't get away from me." It was a whole entire fight that Trayvon initiated. Right? And then the thing is, Florida has a stand your ground law. And the way it was argued, the defense lawyers, if Trayvon didn't start fighting, it wasn't even a fight. He literally was pummeling him. Like, he was fucking him up. But you're making it. This is the thing. I think you actually have critical thinking issues because here's the thing, dude. You're not understanding how the law works. Just because somebody is following you, that does not then give you the right to then enact violence on somebody. You can't just inflict violence when you want to. That's not how it works. You can't just suddenly get violent with somebody just because they're following you. That's not how life works. That's not how society works. You can't. I don't like the way you're looking at me. Or why are you following me? And then you just start throwing blood. Like, remember, keep in mind, this is a neighborhood watch. This is not. He just wasn't out there for no reason. Right? You don't have no emotional. Right? He was already suspended from school multiple times for being violent. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. This wasn't some normal kid who was just minding his own business and had never had issues before. He just literally just no. But he was trying to help. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. He was. And listen, we only have and now granted, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We only have his side, Zimmerman's side, because he's the one who's still alive, unfortunately. Right? But even if he wasn't trying, what do you think so you think he just purposely just attacked him? I mean, like he just purposely pulled out his gun and just shot him? If that was the case, then why was there a fight? And according to George Zimmerman, he was trying to reach for his gun. So that's the other issue. No, the question is why would Trayvon attack him out of nowhere? Well, what do you mean? People do this all the time now. You could clearly hear George Zimmerman getting his ass beat. I think you just want to. Exactly, Trayvon was a crash out. Exactly, and it's an unfortunate situation, but I think you just want to believe in the narrative that it's us versus them. And I really hate that. That's a victim mindset, unfortunately, because that is not. The facts were so overwhelming in that case. It's not even funny. And then what was even crazier about that situation, that Obama even intervened in that situation and literally played such a huge role in pushing this narrative that he could have been one of my sons, and that was highly irresponsible on his part. He didn't even have all the facts in the case, and he was already litigating on behalf of that situation, making it seem like George Zimmerman was just some random racist white guy or Hispanic dude that just, you know, they did him wrong. They did him wrong. I felt so bad when I watched that documentary. I felt so bad for him. Right. Can you imagine the president speaking down on you? Right. Before he even had a chance to even have a fair trial. That was just so wrong for Obama to have intervened and said something and then not even have all the facts play out in court, which is crazy given that Obama himself is a constitutional lawyer. Think about that for a second. So that's why you can't, politicians, mm-mm. Obama's a slimy person anyways. You can't, I've never liked him anyways. I've always felt like he was fake. Fake ass nigga. I never liked him anyways. I always felt like he was a fake progressive, fake liberal type, fake ass nigga. Like his whole entire life trajectory is just fake. Who was the Jenkins family? Who was that? You keep saying that. Who's the Jenkins family? I love him, but I know he had to do things to get where he's at. No, he's an Uncle Tom. I wouldn't even say he's an Uncle Tom. Obama was a liar, is a master manipulator. Fuck that Negro. And I'm not. Listen, I want to make something very clear. I am not a conservative or any of that. I'm not. But Obama is full of shit. And what's crazy is they making it seem like Donald Trump. Oh my God, Donald Trump is a racist. He wants to deport all the Hispanics. And guess who has the highest number of deportations on record? Guess who got the highest number of deportations on record? Obama. Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. You know how many motherfucking wars pretty much Obama started when he was in office? Obama Obama had the motherfucking Arab Spring popping off. That Negro literally had Gaddafi killed. Motherfucking this family's 1 bedroom, 7 kids. TikTok is going viral on a lot of people. Talking about the Jenkins Resilience crew. Damn, they live in a 1 bedroom apartment. Oh, that's ghetto. And they're white too. Now they know better. They know better. It's interesting though seeing the niggification of white people though in real time, because some of them are adopting a lot of habits and customs that you typically associate with niggatry. But there has to be some sort of socioeconomic dynamic to that. But I'm telling you, Briscoe, man, you better wake up, dude. I'm telling you, that Trayvon, and let me tell you something too. Trayvon was getting him a lot of pussy. Trayvon had like 20 girlfriends all at one point. That documentary was hilarious. That white man went and got all of Trayvon's text messages from like years back, and that nigga, that little nigga was a motherfucking little pussy fiend thug. He literally was. It's called the Trayvon hoax. Now I'm gonna warn you, the white man who made the documentary is a right winger, which I didn't like his whole entire shtick about that. That shit low key pissed me off because he made it seem like it was a whole big plot on the part of the Democrats and this conspiracy to try to weaponize Trayvon Martin's case in order to push this agenda and all this others. But and you know who talked about this? I don't know if you guys know who Charles Lowry is and um, Michael Michael McWhorter. I think they're their names. They're two professors. Um, John McWhorter or John Water. I think John Water. John Water. I think that's his name. But they're two black professors. But John Water is he's a centrist liberal, and then Charles Lowry, he's an actual conservative. Um, but they were talking about this document. John McWhorter, that's his name, yeah. But they did a whole entire podcast episode on this documentary, and they because and I was so crazy. It was so crazy listening because I would never think that these two men, because these are like really well esteemed like college professors, and to see them actually watch this documentary and give their real time analysis on it and feedback, I was just like, okay, clearly this is not some made up bullshit documentary. Because they wouldn't waste their time if there wasn't something there. But when I watched it for myself, I was like, whoa. Because they both agreed that the whole political spin that the documentary filmmaker made was a bunch of nonsense. But the way he went and pulled them, that white man went and pulled them facts, got all the text messages. He did all the FOIAs the Freedom of Information Act request. The way that white man got all them facts together, that shit, boy, let me tell you. Oh, Draymond, that dude, that little nigga that dude was, yeah, white man gonna use that for you. Exactly. They gotta know. But that little nigga was a menace. He was a little young nigga crash out. And then he was, another thing him and his friends were doing, they were trafficking guns. I think that was the way how he was making money. He was selling guns. Can you believe that? But every time you see Trayvon, they using that little picture of him. Yeah, that little nigga was selling guns. That's what I'm saying. He was a young Trayvon was, if Trayvon was still alive, he probably would have been in the streets. He was a young nigga crash out. But they love using that picture of him when he it's so funny how propaganda works. Yeah, and black folks don't even realize it. But they always using that picture of him when he was in some program where he went for a day in the Air Force, and he was at an airport, or he was like in the hangar of an airport. Yeah, he looked so cute and innocent in that picture, right? They always use that picture, but they never really show or never really talk about the fact that 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 little motherfucker, that dude was big too. Where the parents be mad, and you know that's something else too that really had my mind blown. I don't care what his life was, he got followed and murdered that night. I mean, there's such thing as justifiable murder, though. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but just because somebody is following you and they're asking you questions, that doesn't mean you can turn around and start beating their ass. You think his murder was justifiable under Florida law? Under Florida law, it was. Doesn't matter what I think. It matters what's legal. And Florida law clearly allowed George Zimmerman to up that pole. And I think really what corroborated. Here's the thing. Why? Let me tell you. At first, I'm like, but still, because I was like you too, Briscoe. I was like, yeah, but he didn't have to use that gun. He didn't have to do that. Man, when you hear them voicemails, he wasn't trying to get away from him. He wasn't. He was beating his ass. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He was fucking him up. He was not just trying to like, man, just get away from me and then he ran off. That 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 dude literally, and even there was witnesses. There were people who were watching it in real time. They were like, this. Okay, so the cop got no reference. He wasn't a cop though. He was a what do you call it? He was neighborhood watch. When I heard the recording, I started to feel bad for Zimmerman. Yeah, because when you hear it, all you hear. Listen, even when the other neighbors were calling in, and you hear all that screaming in the background, and then they were trying to say, no, that was Trayvon that was screaming. Bullshit. That sounded like a old, like that shit sounded like a middle-aged white guy getting his ass beat. Oh no! Somebody help! Oh! Stop it. He was literally screaming out for his life. I'm like, I'm like, yo, Benjamin Crump is a liar. Yeah. I'm like, that nigga really sat up in court and tried to say that that was Trayvon. I'm like, that nigga is a liar and he should be in jail. I'm sorry. The way you hear that voice, oh, oh, stop, stop, please stop. That motherfucker was literally begging for his life. He did not know what he was, dude, and it was raining. It was a whole ass. I was up that. Exactly, Killer Cam. I don't know. I would have did the same thing too, cause once I heard them exactly. Once I heard them damn recordings, I was like, oh, yes, this makes sense now. I would have did the same thing too. I'm telling you, I would have upped the pole too if my life was named against a young nigga. Exactly. I'm telling you. He was fucking him up. Then I think what do you call it? Trayvon was trained to do MMA. He was doing that's the other thing too. So you got a young nigga crash out. He got to go stay with his daddy because he getting into all legal trouble back in Miami. Because his mama is just like he's just too much. He's out of control. I can't handle him. Can you come deal with him? So daddy's like, fine, bring his ass up here. This nigga selling guns and shit back in Florida, back in Miami, to other high school students, doing lean, getting into fights, fucking up other kids and shit. Then he like 6'2", over 200 pounds, athletic. George Zimmerman like 5'3", out of shape. Y'all seen him? He looked like a short Mexican man that cut lawns. Ain't no way in hell George Zimmerman stood a chance against that dude. He is Latino. He's like half. I think he was like half. I think he's like half Honduran, half white, or something like that. Can you imagine getting MMA slammed on a lawn in the rain doing volunteer work? Exact Peruvian, yeah. That's the other thing. Trayvon was fucking him up. He was tossing that motherfucker around, kicking him. Like he literally was trying to he was trying to beat him to death. I'm sorry. He could have killed him. He literally was, no, I'm sorry. That's the reason why George Zimmerman got off with that shit. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but that's the way that law is written down in Florida. And George Zimmerman was like, man, I'm about to die. Let me pull out this blade and kill this little nigga before he killed me. Cause that shit, once I heard them, right, get them before they get you, exactly. Cause once I heard them, that's what changed it for me. Once you hear that shit, I was like, oh no, oh no, 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 oh no. That's like even like with the whole Sandra Bland shit. Once I saw the whole entire call, I was like, bitch, what is you doing? How you? Hey, let me tell you something. I hate the smell of cigarettes. So imagine you're a police officer doing your job. You give this woman a ticket for not putting her turn signal for when she's changing lanes, okay? You're just doing your job. You give her the ticket. You about to be on your merry way. And she just nasty, give you an attitude. Then she's smoking a cigarette, blowing that cigarette smoke in your face. Right, blowing smoke the guy. I'm like, this is just lack of social emotional intelligence. I'm just like, who the fuck raised some of these people? I'm like, where you get this shit from? Or like the other dude down in Georgia, not Amar Arbery, because like I said, that's a whole entire different situation. We comparing apples with oranges. What those racist ass, what that father and son did, along with that prosecutor, they were wrong. They deserve to be in jail for the rest of their life. Okay, that was a whole. Even if Ahmaud Arbery was breaking into houses, which he probably was doing, I doubt he was running, going for a jog in some damn Timberland boots. Okay, but that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Sir, you're not a police officer anymore. You don't have the right to go around and harass and detain people. You're retired. You're not a cop anymore. Yeah, he was in Timberland boots. Yeah, he was in some Timbs. Talking about going for a jog. And you know, niggas, they was just running with that shit. Like, you know, he was just a runner. He was going for a jog. Then they pulled up his rap sheet name. Then he done been in jail and did all types of crazy shit. But that's neither here or neither there. Because that's not how due process works. If he was actually in the commission of committing a crime, all you need to do is call the fucking cops and let them come handle it and deal with it. And truth be told, that is what George Zimmerman should have done. But he didn't. But because it's a he said she said situation and the person on the other end is dead, that other person can't give an accounting as to what exactly happened, right? Maybe George Zimmerman did put a hand or two on him. We don't know. But what we do know is, based on those phone calls, not from just one person, mind you, from multiple people who were outside themselves in their patios watching what was happening in real time to George Zimmerman getting his ass whooped. When I tell you, the before and after pictures, the way Trayvon put a hurting on that dude, it was probably here the moment thing. I don't know because Queen, that shit, them calls went on for a minute. So I don't know. Man, let the cops saw that shit exactly. But I'm talking about that other dude, the one who was in the parking lot of Wendy's and he got drunk and crashed into the or he was drunk in the parking lot in the drive-through and the cops came and they tried to give him a what do you call it? A sobriety test. And then when he failed it and they were going to take him in for a DUI and then he took off running, started doing dumb shit, and then they tased him and then he went after them after he pulled the tasers off of him and then they ended up shooting him. And you know, I think those white officers, I think they got their jobs back. Cause Keisha Lance Bottoms, whatever, I remember she threw them under the bus, and I think that ended up hurting her politically, actually, because you know those cops, they were not in the wrong, but she had put the pressure on the prosecutors to get him to stop the riots, because remember they were rioting after the fact, after that happened, after that situation happened, and yeah. The Liam Payne situation is pretty sad, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea who One Direction is. When I heard about that, I was like, oh, who is he? I don't know, not a Nair song from One Direction. And I know they were popular, but I don't, I never knew who. I don't keep it with no white folks. Rayshard Brooks, that was his name. Yeah, that motherfucker. Because even what he did, I'm like, nigga, what is wrong with you? And what was so crazy about that? Y'all, he was sitting there, he had did a whole sobriety test with them, and they were really trying to help him. Those cops were legitimately concerned about him because he was clearly drunk and inebriated. They were really trying to help him. When he failed and they told him, sorry man, we got to take you in. And usually with DUIs, all they're going to do is just take you to what do they call it, a tank, and let you dry out. And his ass, he was going there, I'm not going to jail. Fuck that. So I'm going to sit up here and give you all a hard time. Now, don't ask me about George Floyd, because we already know how that situation went down. Because that shit was crazy. And see, in some of those situations, like with George Floyd, he clearly was high. And he, I feel like, I don't think there was any other thing that he could have done, honestly. The way that situation played out, now those other cops just sat around and just let him, that shit was crazy to me. But the whole George Floyd shit, I don't like when people bring ask me about that because I'm like, was he acting erratic? George Floyd, was he acting erratic? George Floyd, kind of, sort. I gotta get going. It is late and I'm tired.